Hello and welcome to a guide to C#. In this video I'm just going to be showing you how to create a new project, showing you what template to use and the specifics of that template so I don't have to cover them later when I want to talk about specific topics. So I'm showing you Visual Studio 2019 right now. This is an integrated development environment. That's a long way of saying that. It's an IDE. An IDE is used to code in. Pretty much. You can use many different things. I believe for C#, I do have a list over here because I will not remember them all. You can use Visual Studio, that's not with Linux by the way. You can use Mono Development, Sharp Development, Slick Edit, Understand, Visual Studio Code, Xamarin Studio, Eclipse and Rider. The most common two I've seen is Visual Studio and Rider. I just prefer Visual Studio. This is 2019, and it's currently 2022 as you can see in the bottom right. But I just like 2019, to be honest. So, to get started now, I'm going to create a new project. I'm going to go down here in the bottom right and press Create New Project. You're going to see it come up here. You can see I've had recent applications here. If you've started this up new, you won't have any recent templates. But what we can do is there is a search bar at the top in 2019 and further. We can just search for console application. There we go. You can see I even have the little drop box of what I've searched before. And you can see there's some console application. I do have a C++ one here, but what you want to press is C#. And but I'm going to also show you how to do that without searching. I'm going to clear all again. What you can do is you can go to these drop boxes below, press C#. Platform you want is Windows. Well, what I want to use, I think you could just leave that, to be honest. And what you want is a console in all project types. And you can see there's console application or console application.net framework. I'm actually just going to use the normal console application for this. I don't need the .NET framework for this. And then I'm just going to create, so we have to configure the project. We have to give it a project name, a location. I'm going to do that and move on to the next. And you'll see when I'm done. Okay, so I've done that and I've just pressed next. Additional information is using your .NET Core. 3.1 has long-term support. There is different ones, but actually both of them are out of support now. I've never used the different ones. 3.1 long-term support. Now the project is created. You can see when you start a new console application, there will be code already in here. I'm actually just going to zoom this in so you can see it easier. Let's just put in 150. There we go. So you can read it a bit easier. I'm not going to explain what's at the sides right now. I'm going to explain that actually at the bottom of your screen is an error list and an output. So the output will tell you, whatever it's doing, and the error list will just tell you if there's any errors in your code. So right now, if I just write ADA and leave it, this will be an error. And if I want to then try and run this, the error will come down into our error list and tell us to fix it, or we won't be able to run our game. So what I'm going to show now is I'm going to go through line by line explaining what everything is doing. So we have lines 1 to 13 here because we have 13 lines within our code. And we're going to start off with line 1. So we have using systems. Using is a keyword and keywords are predefined and have specific functions. So this using is telling the compiler, when we go and compile and run the code, that we want to be using this system. Systems is a library. You can see actually when we hover over it, you can see system is a namespace, same as our C# tutorials on line 3. I'm going to go through namespaces. Actually, no, I'll go through namespaces now because it'll probably clear up system. But as we've defined namespace with C# tutorial here, everything within these curly brackets is going to be used when we're using this namespace. So that is the same with system. So system.cs file will look like it's using namespace system and then be full of all different code, and that is all that we're using. We're using the code that is within the system namespace. So I've kind of explained namespace to you there. It's used to organize code. You can isolate code between namespaces. So you just can't access it unless you're using the library that you want to be using. Next up is class program. I'm actually not going to cover this right now, but know that the class program, know that this namespace of this project, it's going to go into this namespace, it's going to search for a program class, which it's finding here, and within the program class, it's going to search for a void main. In this case, it's static void main. But just know that these two are needed within C# console applications. I'm not going to cover them right now because we'll cover them in the later topic because they are kind of convoluted. And specific paradigms and things that you just don't need to understand right now, so I'm not going to cover them right now. Just know these need to be here. When the game compiles and runs, it's going to search into the class program and find the static void main, and it will run whatever code is within these curly brackets here. So we're going to move on to the final line we just need to explain, line 9. Line 9 is just telling the console to write a line on the screen saying hello world with an exclamation mark. So you can see right line here, and then we have our parentheses with speech marks, and then whatever we want is within there. So this is actually using system up here. So if we've removed system, just going to delete that line, you can see this will be an error because console doesn't exist. Console is coming from our system. If we wanted to use console without having system, we can actually just write system dot and then console will work here. But it's easier, instead of having to write system dot every time we want to access the console, to just tell the program that we're going to be using system. Okay, I'm actually going to run this code now. To do this, I'm going to go up to the top, go to debug. Sorry, that mouse click was really loud. Go to debug, and I'm going to press start debugging. This is F5 in future reference. I will just be using F5. So let's do that, and it's on the wrong screen. Okay, I'm going to bring it over to this screen. When it's brought over to this screen, it actually is showing my hotbar. Future reference, this will not be on the screen, but I'm just going to show you what it looks like right now. So you can see the Visual Studio Debug console here, and you can see what it is doing is writing hello world, because that's what we have told it to do within main. Sorry, I tabbed out of that, I clicked out of that. And then it is saying, okay, we've run this, debugging stops, and now we can press any key to close the window. So now if you can, I'm actually just going to move this off the screen and bring it on the screen for you in a different way here. So it's just easier for me not having to see the hotbar and things like that. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to remove that. I'm just going to change the text within here so you can see it working even better. I'm just going to put hi, and I'm going to press F5 to run the code. And you can see now it has hi on the screen in the top left. Now I've shown you how outputs work, I'm going to show you how inputs work. So I'm going to put in something here. I'm going to put in console. We're using system, so I don't have to write systems.console. We're going to put in console.readLine. Read line. Console.readLines does exactly what you think it would. It just reads the line that you're inputting. So I'm going to run the code with F5 again, and you can see nothing is on the screen because it's not because the code has gone through found program, found main, and on the first line within main, it wants to read the line. So it's going to wait for my input here. I'm just going to put in that, whatever gibberish that is. Then when I press enter, it will continue on with the rest of the code and move to the right line. So let's press enter, and you can see it's moved on to the right line, and that's outputted here. There are many different versions of read and write, so I'll show you here. There's just a read, which will just read anything you put in. So let's run this, and it's pretty much similar to read line, except from read line is specific that it will be a line that you're inputting. Next up is read key. Read key just reads the key that you're inputting. So if I come here and press A, it's registered that I pressed A and then it said hi. Different to read line, it's not recognizing that we have a line and it's put that A before hi. Next up, I'm just going to delete this line. Next up, I'm going to show you the different versions of write. So let's put in write here, and you can see the only other version is just write. We can still use this as inputting this text here, and it'll still work the same. Except from it doesn't actually recognize, that it's a write line, and doesn't put in the line as it did before between hi and our drive. Okay, I'm just going to return this to the state we had before, where I'm just going to write read line. That'll be easier. There's only two more things I want to show you in this episode, and that is just one thing call and just one thing that will be used often. So I'm going to remove what is inside this write line here. You can see it won't error because it just will write nothing. what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this console.readline, I'm going to cut it. I'm going to cut it by this here. I'm going to use Control X for future reference. I'm going to cut it and paste it with Control V, or you can right click and just paste, but I will use Control V for future reference again. I'm going to remove these lines. And now you can see I'm going to press F5 to run the code. Nothing will happen. You might think this is weird considering we have the console.writeLine. It wants to do that first, but it actually only wants to write whatever we've inputted on our line. So I'm going to go up here and put hi. Now when I press enter, the code will move on to the next line because we've told it read line, and then it's outputted what we inputted. So it's just repeated what we said. So if I escape out of that and continue back, I'm going to just put in my name, and you can see it will repeat my name. And that's just a cool little thing you can do if you just want, your console application to repeat what you're typing. Next up, what I'm going to do is, say I have this line, but I don't want to use this line. I want it just to move on to say hi. Let's put it saying hi. Let's say I wanted to say hi, but when I run it, it's running this line. I don't want to remove this line because I want to use it later. I don't want to just delete it. I want to run it later. So what I'm going to do is go to the beginning of the line, or beginning of the start of the text, and I'm going to put // This tells the code, so when it's going through main, it goes to line 9. It goes to read the line, and it's like, okay, there's a // I'm just going to ignore this line. Move on to 10, nothing's on 10, so it moves on to 11. So now when I press F5, you can see it just ignores that line, just says hi straight away. This is just something else I'm going to use. This is called commenting out. It's a comment, which I've written here, the // and I've commented out this line. So next up, what I'm going to show you is a multi-line comment. So same as a comment here, you can have one that stretches over multiple lines. So I'm going to delete the second / and put in an asterisk. Shift 8 if you're on a QWERTY keyboard. And you can see it's started a multi-line comment. Everything is green after this. That is because it's started the multi-line comment and we haven't actually told it to not check for the next lines. So I'm just going to copy and paste this text here, and you can see this is still green. But the way we would stop this multi-line comment is putting an asterisk /, the opposite of how we started one. So now it knows, so it's read this /*, this multi-line comment, and it's going to check for the end, and everything between there is ignored. So because it's seen the end here, it's like, okay, I'm just going to move on to this line and run this. So if I press F5 here, you can see it only says hi. I'm sorry, I forgot to add something into this video. You won't see this part in the outro after this part, but you will see this now. There's one thing I wanted to cover with C# in general, and it's probably best to cover it here, but this is going to be regions. So what you do is, on a new line, I put in a number symbol, or hashtag. I put in region with no capital. I call it wherever I want. Let's call it init here, and then where I want the region to end, I put another symbol, and I call end region, and now that allows me to close this off so you can't see this. So you won't see this in the outro because I've already recorded the outro and this is done afterwards. So that is everything I want to teach you in this episode. Hopefully you've learned something. And that's everything I wanted to teach you in this episode. This is just the beginning of a chapter. We're going to move on to more C# things later on, and I'm going to start teaching you tips and tricks with certain things. But hopefully you've enjoyed this one. If you did, leave a like on the video, subscribe to see more, and make sure you check the next one. I'll see you then.